The following video was recorded on location in my state-of-the-art office in the corner of my first floor apartment. If you like what you're about to hear, please like, comment, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell in the upper right corner. Awesome. Well, thank you for taking the time to do this interview.
Of course, man. Thank you for having enough interest in our project to interview me.
Oh, very much so. And of course, the project in question is the debut release from Expulsion, Nightmare Future, which is available now through Relapse, which just came out this past Friday. With the release being out now, what has been the reception to the band so far?
Wow, I mean, on social media, it's been like, I would describe it as overwhelming in terms of support from the fans and the press, which is just, I'm so grateful for, and it's just knocking me out. But the fans are loving it, and the press is loving it as well. And to be honest with you, I was a little concerned that since we were coming from these other bands that already have like a, you know, kind of a high bar for these other bands, I was afraid it would be a letdown for some of these sort of critics and stuff like that. But no, I mean, they love it. And I'm so glad because I love the project too, and they seem to be loving it just as much as me. So that's a very cool thing.
Yeah, and I'm definitely one of those people. I mean, I'm a fan of all the bands that everyone in this project has been a part of, and when I heard that this project was going to happen as Expulsion, I got very excited when I heard about the way it was being described, and then when I finally started hearing the songs for the first time, I was just blown away with what was going on. And when I finally got to hear the full release, I mean, it was just 14 minutes of pure grindcore aggression, and I just absolutely love that.
Oh, cool. Yeah, well, thank you very much.
Oh, not a problem. So with that in mind, how did this whole idea of Expulsion come to be?
Well, I suppose you could say it's my brainchild. Repulsion started doing gigs again around 2003. Around 2004, we started working with Art and Cole Jones, both from Exhumed, to fill in. And they just started asking me, hey, why don't we do new material? I mean, the band sounded amazing. And from that point on, the question was, why are we not doing material? And I just, my partner in Repulsion just is not interested in doing it. And for a while, I just said, well, you know what, if I can't get Scott on board to do new music, then maybe I should just put it to rest. But it just kept gnawing at me, you know. I was like, God, it just sounds so good, but I want to do more. And it actually took probably it took about another 10 years, really, before I started to go, you know what, fuck it. I'm writing some new tunes, and it's going forward. I'm not sure exactly how yet, but I'm writing some new music, and Matt Harvey was the first person I called because he's really a student of this era of music, and a scholar, really. Is probably a better way to put it. And he understands that there's really nothing to discuss. He gets it right away, and we collaborated on some songs, some demos, and they turned out great. I immediately got Relapse interested in it. And that's more or less how it goes. And as far as getting Danny Walker and Menno Vervaeten involved, those guys are just friends of mine. I mean, they happen to be really awesome musicians in awesome other bands, but really they're just friends of mine, and they're guys that I called because I knew they would nail it as well, and they did. They killed it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, all four of you guys just absolutely nailed it. I mean, I love the style of what's going on there. I mean, of course, coming from Repulsion, I mean, these songs feel like it could have been on a new Repulsion release, but I really love the new take that everyone else in Expulsion has been a part of, like Matt being such a legendary sound as a frontman with all of his bands, and like getting Danny Walker, who's so versatile on drums, and of course, Menno on bass, and you on guitar. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better lineup for this style of music.
Right on. Thank you. I'm just kind of, I feel really lucky to be working with these guys, and everything came together really, really nicely, and I'm glad people are recognizing that.
So when you had this in mind of like working with Matt Harvey, when did it start to feel natural to you when you two were collaborating together? When did you know that this was going to feel right for a new project?
Oh, really, I mean, before I even called him, because I just know. I mean, the guy lives and breathes this stuff. I mean, he's Matt Harvey. I mean, he just knows this stuff better than anybody, and he knew. And he was one of the ones that was kind of a proponent for new Repulsion music. But you know, when I called him, he was immediately on board, and I don't know, within a couple of months or so, we were in my apartment in Hollywood, throwing back a few beers and recording vocals on the songs I had demoed, and he just killed it. We just kind of looked at each other and we're like, you know, this sounds really good. And of course, I mean, getting from that point to the point of releasing an album is still quite a journey. But yeah, I mean, I guess the best way to put it is there was really never any doubt whatsoever that Matt Harvey was going to come in and be an awesome collaborator and just completely murder it, you know?
So with that in mind, how much did the songs change from the original demo form once you got the full band together?
Oh, well, actually, they didn't change at all. Not a single note was changed. I knew exactly what I was going for musically. You know, really short songs, not intentionally short, really, but I just kind of want to. It's like I want to keep the intensity really, really high, and kind of get in and get out without any filler. And of course, that ends up making a song short, and I'm not even really intentionally doing that, but it's like I just like to evacuate anything that is gonna make you stop and stare off into space and think about, you know, whatever. I don't know. No, I just want to rip your face off, and also I am also particularly interested from a songwriting standpoint of finding catchy riffs and hooks and things like that are memorable, essentially. A lot of grindcore has the approach of being sort of anti-music, you know, which is cool. I mean, I love that too. That's rad. But I don't know. There's just something about the way I'm approaching it that hopefully people will see is a little bit different. Where I want to leave the listener with something like they're practically humming it, or they're thinking of the breaks, or they're thinking of the chorus or something. But I'm sorry, I got away from your original question. What was it?
Oh, no. I love that. I mean, if you want to expand upon that, I mean, I love being able to hear that because I was just going to say, you know, it's just like that's what I was so drawn to with your songwriting and with Repulsion to begin with. I mean, when I first discovering these heavier, darker sides of metal, I mean, Repulsion was one of the first bands that I really grew into because of the Choosing Death soundtrack. When I first heard Repulsion for the first time, it blew me away that such chaotic sounds could have such melodies and harmonies behind it as well. And then when I finally got more invested in the style, I could see everything that it was capable of amongst the chaos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's an interesting way to put it. Yeah. What's capable amongst the chaos is definitely something that I'm interested in exploring, you know, without getting too intellectual or cerebral. I like to keep it on a gut level, you know.
So with that, I mean, with the overwhelming praise that the project is getting right now, do you see like more releases coming in the near future, or are you just focusing on the release right now?
No, actually, I'm demoing some tracks that we want to put on an EP, and I'm already demoing the tracks for that.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, and Harvey's going to get those hopefully in a couple of weeks and do his thing on it, and then we go back to the label, discuss it with them, and then we start coming up with a schedule to record and release it. and that will conclude my commitment as far as contractually with Relapse. But at that point, we'll very likely proceed with another contract to do a full length, more of a full length album. I'd like to do like maybe closer to 25 to 30-minute album next time.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, I mean, what I do love about this first release is that in such a short amount of time, I mean, there's so much aggression and hooks and melodies that's going on there that you don't even realize that it's over when you go through all the tracks, and just makes you want to go back to the beginning and listen again. But when you like go for a double the length for like the next full-blown release, when you get to that 25-30 minute range, I mean, it's going to be really cool to see how that all fits together like that.
Yeah, right on. I mean, it's interesting. This album, most people don't actually even mention that when they listen to it. They typically mention that they play it more than once, which is really the majority of comments. There are comments that it's too short, but it's not really a complaint. It's more like we just want more. But the majority of comments are just like, yeah, this is a raging album. You know, it's on repeat. You know, or something like that. After we finished it, I sent a final mastered version to the head of Relapse, the guy that runs the label, and he emailed me back a couple of days later. There was a lag time there, and I was like, oh man, I hope he dug it. But he emailed me back and he said, Matt, I just want to tell you, we went on a road trip recently, and I played Nightmare Future 4 times in a row. I'm so glad we did this. And that to me was very encouraging. It was before the release, and I'm just like, wow, I hope there's more response like this waiting for us.
Oh, very much so. I mean, I think that's very important, especially for a debut, to have those two things where it's got to have replay value and it's got to make you wanting more. So, and definitely it's nailing that on both ends for me as a fan. I mean, I constantly go back and keep listening to it over and over, and it leaves me wanting more. And the fact that you are already in the demo stages for upcoming releases, that just makes me so happy.
Oh, rad, dude. Thank you so much.
Oh, not a problem. With that in mind, with already having like ideas for future releases coming up, what's coming up as far as live shows? Is that going to be a possibility?
Yeah, it's a bit tricky, as you could imagine. I've got 3 other band members that are busy in their careers, but I believe Intronaut is kind of taking a little break for a bit. They're more or less on a hiatus, which opens some stuff up for Danny, although he's doing stuff with Phobia now too. Harv is the band leader of 3 bands, and he's also in Expulsion, so he's basically part of 4 bands. He's the trickiest guy, but I believe we have some window of opportunity for the fall-winter time period. And yeah, we definitely playing live is on the table, and we want to do it. We all really, really want to do it, actually, get out there and play. That's going to be the funnest part.
Oh, without question. I mean, it's one thing to be able to lay these onto record and be able to show them off and get that high praise, but being able to play those songs in front of a live audience, I mean, there's no greater feeling, especially with a new project like this, being able to show off that material and knowing that everyone is there for that material.
Yeah, totally. And what's nice is, like, yeah, it's a new band. It's a brand new band, but the thing is that we all have our little backgrounds, and so it's not quite like a rookie experience, you know, at all. There's going to be a bunch of people there that are Exhume fans, Repulsion fans, and Expulsion fans, you know, is what I am hoping.
Yeah, and that's definitely a great way to look at it, too. And by that time, by the end of the year, I mean, with having new material most likely being written and recorded, if not released by the end of the year, it'll give you that much more time to be able to fill up in the set as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've already discussed some really choice covers that we want to do, just a handful, so we can make a really, really tight, like, 30-minute set or so, you know?
Oh yeah, yeah. I was wondering about that as well because it's like there's so much eclectic sounds that's coming from all four band members. I was wondering if there was going to be some cover material possibly when you play live.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're such big fans of really that era of extreme music. I mean, it was the advent really of extreme music. It's like, yeah, Slayer, Venom, all right, cool. And then after that, it's like in the mid '80s, late '80s, came these bands that just changed everything. And as such, there's like just a gold mine of like rare outtake demo stuff from a rehearsal tape. There's all these cool little things that you can mine from in terms of covers. And Harvey, of course, is like an encyclopedia for that stuff. And I also have, some passionate, likes in there as well that we're going to pursue.
Thinking about that, with the mid to late '80s being such a rich tapestry as far as extreme music, how do you feel about extreme music now in 2017?
Great that it's flourished so prominently. I mean, I would have never dreamed that Napalm Death would still be playing, and not only playing, but really being at the top of their game. 30 years on or whatever. It's just like incredible. Again, I kind of lean towards extreme music that has more of a discernible kind of musical quality to it. And there's bands that they're just really into a lo-fi, just practically falling apart kind of sound. And I think that's really cool too, but I tend to not follow it too much. But as far as extreme music goes, I think it's great. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, I'm very much like you too. I mean, I love the very extreme styles of music out there, but there's also got to be something there for me to want to go back to, whether it's the catchy riffs, melodies, and harmonies, or a specific part in a song that I just want to keep going back to. I mean, there's really got to be something that sticks out in a band that makes you want to go back to it, and those are the extreme metal bands I always keep going back to.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too. So I really want Expulsion's musical legacy to be. I just want it to be just tons of just cool songs that make you want to go back and listen to them again and again.
Yeah, and I definitely think you guys have more than pulled that off, and it makes me very excited for what's going to be coming down the road. I mean, obviously it's going to have that core sound that Expulsion has started with this brand new release, which of course is available now through Relapse, but I imagine that it's going to be expanded upon just enough to be able to get those new hooks, melodies, harmonies, and really just capture what you guys are going for in just even better ways than you already have.
Yeah, I mean that's the idea, and that's what I'm hoping for. I think also too at this point, what you could look for in the future as far as Expulsion music is maybe even coming a little more into our own, something that feels even more sort of completely like a tailored suit to the talents of myself and Danny Walker and Menno and Matt Harvey, because the first release was kind of like a brainchild of mine, you know what I mean? And I demoed everything very, very extensively, and the guys just kind of came in and learned it. Harvey, he wrote the lyrics and did the vocals, but the other guys kind of came in and just learned their parts and of course killed it. But the thing is that perhaps in the future we'll really get more of a sense of their artistry into the songwriting itself. How that would be, I don't know. But I'm just saying, as the band grows, look for that as well.
Oh yeah, and that's always bound to happen with a band too. I mean, especially when everyone in a band is allowed to contribute, or the main songwriter is able to appeal to different styles that the other members have been known for or want to experiment upon. That's always going to happen, but always being able to keep that sound that people are known for, but being able to expand upon the better parts of the band, the more melodies, harmonies, whatever the special attributes the other members of the band have, and being able to just capture that good sound from all the great musicians part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, I don't want anyone to, because I know sometimes people can get a little sensitive about this, but I don't want anyone to think that we're going to suddenly put out an album that sounds like, you know, the Black Album. No, I mean, it's always going to be, you know, it's always going to sound pretty much at its core like Nightmare Future, but there's just going to be little things, I think, here and there that will add up to a band that sounds like it's coming more into its own in terms of the artistry.
Yeah, I was gonna say with that, it's like if all of a sudden with the next release it starts going for more of that top 40 rock sound, I'm gonna wonder if someone just stole the name Expulsion and you have the rights to. Well, awesome. Well, Matt, thank you so much for taking all this time to be able to talk to me about everything that's going on with Expulsion right now, and with a phenomenal debut release, which is available now through Relapse. I mean, 4 of some of the best musicians in this style, just being able to get together and just this flourishing band that's just going to be getting bigger and better from here on out. I mean, if this is what you guys are capable of just from your demos alone, I mean, once everything just starts to feel more natural together with the songwriting and knowing everyone's attributes and playing live, it's just going to get bigger and better from here. And as a longtime fan of everyone in the band, I'm just so happy to see that.
Oh, it's so awesome, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.